Anxiety is a normal reaction. Everyone feels anxious at some point. Anxiety is designed to keep us safe by preparing us to deal with challenges or situations that are dangerous or threatening. It does this by keeping us alert so that we are able to spot and avoid danger, preparing our bodies so that we can quickly take some action to keep safe, and helping us learn how we can keep out of future danger and stay safe. When we perceive a threat, our body prepares us to deal with it. This is often called the fight or flight response, and it prepares us to avoid or run away or to confront and face the threat. For example, you may need to jump out the way of a car to avoid being hit, or you might need to quickly leave the building when the fire alarm sounds, or you may need to fight off an attacker. Fortunately, for most of us, there are relatively few real threats to our physical safety. However, many people feel anxious because they imagine threat. They worry about what might happen and imagine that things will go wrong. For example, they might get lost if they go somewhere new, or that they will be unable to cope. For example, they won't know what to say to someone, or they worry they'll be laughed at, or that they will be unsuccessful. For example, they worry they'll make a mistake in their work. Because they are always imagining threat, some people live in a constant state of anxiety. The core three parts of the fight and flight response are 1. How we think. This helps us to identify situations or events where there might be possible threat or danger. Often this is what we think will happen and how we will be unsuccessful or how things will go wrong. 2. How we feel. This is the response that prepares our bodies to take some action to deal with the threat. We may notice our heart racing, that we feel hot, short of breath, or go red. 3. What we do. We learn how to keep ourselves safe and out of future danger. Often this involves avoiding the situation or thing that we worry about and which makes us anxious. Children who are anxious are more likely to think that they will be unsuccessful. They are more likely to think that they will be unable to cope, will get things wrong, that bad things will happen, that people will laugh at them or be unkind, or are constantly looking for signs of danger. These ways of thinking make the child believe that they are living in a dangerous world in which they are unable to cope. There are many symptoms of anxiety, and these can range from going red and blushing, shaking, having butterflies, to a dry mouth, or sweating, or having fast breathing. Other possible signs of anxiety include difficulty concentrating, problems sleeping, not eating, complaining of feeling unwell or a poorly tummy, being irritable, temper outbursts, or talking about worries. We learn from what has happened and use this information to deal with future or similar events. For example, if you were laughed at in class for wrongly answering a question, you might not answer future questions, as you may think you'll get it wrong. Or if you had a panic attack when you were shopping, you might stop going to the shops, as you may think that you won't be able to cope, and so decide to stay at home. Or if your mum was very late picking you up from school, you might think that she has had an accident. You may then want to stop going to school so that you can stay with her and make sure she is okay. We learn to avoid or stop doing things that make us anxious. The following diagram shows an anxiety trap of how worrying thoughts, anxious feelings, and avoidance behaviours can all tie together. You can take a moment now to look at this diagram further. Anxiety is difficult for your child, but can also have a significant effect on your family life. Anxiety can restrict everyday activities, as parents may organise their life around the child's worries, and may be unable to take their child out shopping, to leave their child and go out on their own, or to spontaneously go somewhere new. Anxiety may impact and strain family relationships. Family members may feel jealous of the attention the anxious child receives, resentful that the child's anxiety interferes with what they want to do, or cross that the anxiety dictates family life. Anxiety may also impact on leisure activities. The child's anxiety may prevent or interfere with activities such as going to the cinema, out for a meal, or where you can go on holiday. Children worry about fear and threats to their physical safety or security. They may worry about being away from their main carer, that they may not be able to cope or that something terrible will happen to them. This is called separation anxiety. Or they may develop specific worries and fear things like dogs, loud noises, or balloons. These are called specific phobias. Adolescent worries are more abstract and relate to negative outcomes. They may worry about anything and everything and expect that things will go wrong. This is called generalized anxiety. Or they may worry about what other people think about them and become anxious talking with other young people. This is called social anxiety. Or they may worry about intense episodes of fear where they worry about being out of control, having a heart attack, or even dying. These are known as panic attacks. There is no single reason why a child becomes anxious. Often it is a combination of factors including genetics. Anxiety disorders are heritable. Research with twins has shown that children may inherit a predisposition to be anxious. Life events. Anxiety can be triggered by stressful events. These could be anything such as friendship and bullying issues, physical injury, bereavement, house or school moves, or family problems. Family factors. Anxiety disorders run in families. Anxious children are more likely to have anxious parents who may model fearful behavior and avoidant coping strategies. Attachment and temperament. Anxiety is associated with behavioral inhibition and insecure attachment. Temperamental factors in a child such as shyness, withdrawal from new or unfamiliar situations or people increase the risk of anxiety.